Joining us now via Zoom is Mr. William Sawyer. William is the CEO of Empire Post Media Incorporated. Bill's an old friend of the program. He's an oil and gas entrepreneur. Bill, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Glad to be here.
Now, we've seen some remarkable things go on in the oil business this week. I thought I'd get your comment on it. We saw negative oil futures. Tell us what that means.
Well, negative oil futures just means that the futures that you're selling, you can't sell them at a good price. And it's usually the calls, not the puts. The puts are at a particular price, but the calls are at a price where somebody can call it from you at that price. And that's what's difficult. And that's what goes below the dollar mark. It's not the oil price itself. The oil price itself is still holding up pretty good. I think the West Texas Intermediate's been about $13 and Brent crude's been about $19, but the crude price in California, which is Buena Vista Hills, is about $17, almost $18. So there's about a $4 difference between the California price and the Permian price.
Well, now, can oil producers, and there's a lot of independent oil producers out there, can they make money at these low prices?
Well, that's a loaded question. If you have no debt and you don't have high overhead, yes. At the wellhead, you're not hurting very much unless you have what they call high LOE, lease operating expense properties. These are water floods, tertiary recovery, wells that produce a lot of water. Those are hurting pretty bad. But in general, most properties that have low water production and are primary recovery at the wellhead are still making money.
How important is the oil business to the U.S. economy?
Well, it's very important. It's very important. One is it boosters up other areas of the economy. Two, although the price going down helps the gas price to go down and the diesel price to go down, it does hurt the other people in the economy that are servicing off of it, like the service companies and people that are selling goods and services to the oil industry.
Well, I saw a gas station post a sign where it said 86 cents somewhere in the Midwest. And I think people have gotten used to paying about $2.50, $3 a gallon. 86 cents is just ridiculous.
Well, it is, but I got to tell you, I can remember back when I lived in Paducah, Kentucky, and you could get it for 25 cents a gallon. If you went across the river into Illinois, you got it for 21 cents a gallon. And if you had a DX card, you got it for 18 cents a gallon. So it's still one of those things that you can make money off of it. The service stations can make money. Everybody can make money off of it at this price, but we'd like the price to go up.
How is this going to affect the overall industry, do you think, going forward?
Well, looking at the industry itself, the people that are in water floods, the people that have high LOE, the people that have high debt or high overhead are going to hurt. They're going to hurt. The people that are going to make out are the ones that are smart enough to start buying right now. And that's been a problem for years. We get a lot of followers who, after the oil price recovers, are willing to put money in, but we have very few people that are starting out that say, okay, now is the time to do it. Let's do it now. Let's not wait. And that's what we need. And those are the people that are going to make the money.
Well, there are some analysts, Bill, that are saying that oil companies are going to go bankrupt through this. Do you anticipate that, or do you think they're going to be okay?
Well, I think there are companies that are going to go bankrupt or close to it. The ones that have high debt are going to. The ones that have high overhead can always fire people, lay people off. But generally, high debt is what kills companies in this time.
Now, of course, the oil business always bounces back at some point in time, doesn't it?
Well, that's true. And we're looking at right now, August price for West Texas crude is about $22 still. So that may be a good sign. I'm sorry, not for West Texas, for Brent crude is about $22. So that's positive. It's going from 19 to 22. And I think that's a good move.
Having been in the business as long as you've been, you've probably seen just about every cycle imaginable.
Well, yes. Of course, I haven't been in as long as some people, but if you remember in the early years, Standard Oil dropped the price to 25 cents so that they could run people out of business. Reagan, during the era that he was in office, dropped the oil price to $8 a barrel by talking to friends like Saudi Arabian people, because he wanted to drive the Russians out of business. Strangely enough, very few people understand what's going on here. And what's going on is not a fight between Russia and OPEC. This was a fight between Russia and the Ukraine. Ukraine was starting to produce really well, doing good, not taking outside money in anymore. And Russia, or Putin, just looked at it and said, you know, I can do the same thing Reagan did and drive them out of business. And he lowered the price, and not realizing that the COVID was going to hit and the economies of the world were going to have trouble. And all of a sudden it was a downward spiral. Putin does not want to hurt OPEC because he has a lot of buyers, not of crude oil, but of other services and goods out of those countries and from countries they support. What is happening is that the spiral has started, and other countries, the smaller countries like Iraq and people like that, are going $3 under the posted price to sell. So you've got a spiral that you can't control right now. And that's what they would like to do, is control the spiral.
Tremendous insight, Bill. Thanks so much, Bill Sawyer, Empire Post Media. Your expertise is always welcome on the program, Bill.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate you having me.